All right, today we're doing a stock discovery, putting two really interesting companies head to head, Aptus Value Housing and Bondada Engineering. One's a steady lender, the other is a booming builder. We're going to dig into their businesses, their growth, and what the future might look like for both. So, here's the big question, right? What's the more compelling growth story here? Is it the consistent lender that's just steadily building its foundation, brick by brick? Or is it the high-growth builder that's reaching for the sky? By the end of this, you'll have a much clearer picture of what makes each of them tick. Okay, so let's get into it and really break these two down. We're going to look at what they do, how they're growing, what they're aiming for, and even the stuff you got to be careful about. First things first, you can't really compare them without knowing what they actually do, right? So let's meet the players. And wow, these two could not be more different. On one hand, you have Aptus Value Housing. They're all about financing the dream of home ownership, specifically for self-employed folks and families in rural and semi-urban India. On the other hand, there's Bondada Engineering. They're literally building the backbone of our digital and green future, handling the engineering, procurement, and construction, that's the EPC part, for these huge telecom and solar projects. Okay, so different businesses mean totally different growth stories. Let's pull up the report card and see how they're doing. Now, for Aptus, the story here is all about that steady, impressive growth. We're talking a 32% jump in sales year over year. That is super healthy. It's solid, it's consistent, pretty much exactly what you'd want to see from a stable lender. But then you switch over to Bondada, and it's a completely different kind of number we're looking at. This isn't just about what they sold last year. This is their future revenue, locked in. They are sitting on a confirmed order book of over 5,000 crore rupees. I mean, just think about that. That's a massive, massive pipeline of work that's already guaranteed. And this slide really puts those two stories in black and white, side by side. Aptus, it's the picture of health, 32% sales growth, 27% profit growth. That's rock solid. But Bondada, well, Bondada is a rocket ship. Sales up 116%, and get this, net profit up an incredible 155%. When you put up numbers like that, people notice, which is exactly why a big ratings agency like CRISIL upgraded them. That's a huge vote of confidence in their finances and their ability to get the job done. So that's what they've done. But what about where they're going? Let's check out the ambitious goals their own management teams are putting out there. Aptus has laid out a really clear roadmap. They want to get their assets under management, that's basically the total value of all the loans they've given out, up to 25,000 crore rupees by 2028. To hit that, they're shooting for 30% growth every single year. That's a pretty powerful statement of confidence in their own business model. And then there's Bondada. True to form, they're thinking even bigger. Their goal, to become a $1 billion revenue company by 2030. And check out the near-term goal. They're targeting 4,000 crore in revenue by 2027. That's just a few years away. That kind of target just screams confidence in the infrastructure boom that's coming. Okay, but it can't all be sunshine and rainbows, right? Every single growth story has its risks. So, to keep things balanced, we have to look at the potential red flags. So, for Aptus, one thing that pops up is a slight dip in the promoter holding. Looks like some insiders sold a few shares. Now, this isn't necessarily a reason to hit the panic button, but it's something you definitely want to keep an eye on. You always have to ask, why are the folks who know the company best cashing out? Then, for Bondada, the flag is this huge jump in trade receivables. That's basically money they're owed for work they've already finished. And while, this can happen when you're growing like crazy, you've got to watch closely to see if they're actually collecting that cash.
All right, so we've seen the businesses, the growth, the ambitions, and the risks. Let's put it all together. Time for the final tale of the tape.
And here it is, the final scorecard. Everything side by side. You've got Aptus, a financial services company, super consistent. Its key strength is that reliable, steady profit growth. And its PE ratio, that's its price compared to its earnings, it's kind of on the lower, more conservative side for its industry. The risk we identified? Keeping an eye on those insider sales. Then you've got Bondada, the high-flying infrastructure builder. Its strength is that monster order book, pointing to a gigantic future. And interestingly, its PE ratio is actually below its sector's average, which might suggest some people think it's undervalued for its growth.
The risk there? Making sure they collect all those IOUs.
And that brings us right back to the question we asked at the very beginning. When you look at these two completely different profiles, which one looks like the better opportunity to you? Is it the steady, proven profitability of the lender, or is it the explosive, high-potential growth of the builder? As always, there's no single right answer. It all depends on which growth story you believe in more. Thanks for joining me for this explainer.